The August sun over Raleigh, North Carolina, was doing what it did best: baking lawns, warming beer cans too fast, and making everyone question their choice of outdoor activities. The air shimmered in heat waves that looked like ghosts of humidity dancing over driveways. On Oak Hill Lane, where the yards were big and the fences low enough for gossip to cross freely, Saturday afternoons were for cookouts, friendly arguments, and, recently, cricket. Yes, cricket. In a small American neighborhood better known for Little League and football jerseys, someone had introduced cricket, and it had stuck. Mostly because no one knew the rules, which made it fair for everyone. Aaron Blake stood under the wide oak tree near the cul-de-sac, holding a cricket bat like it was a medieval weapon he wasn't sure he was licensed to use. His t-shirt, soaked through with effort and uncertainty, said, "Keep calm and debug," a souvenir from his old tech office in Seattle that didn't quite fit the new life he was trying to build. He squinted toward the homemade pitch marked by 2 lawn chairs and a cooler. "So, you're telling me," he said, adjusting his sunglasses, "that I'm supposed to hit that tiny red ball before it hits the chair?" "Exactly," said Tina Morales, the self-proclaimed captain of the neighborhood cricket club, her voice full of energy and the authority of someone who had watched 2 YouTube tutorials. "But if you miss, it's okay, we all still cheer." That line would become Aaron's mantra of the summer. The players were a mix of ages and backgrounds. Tina's teenage nephews, a retired school principal named Mr. Hobbs, Lenny from the auto shop, and Grace from next door, who had come mostly to bring snacks but somehow ended up as umpire. The scene was absurd in the best way, a hodgepodge of enthusiasm and zero expertise, like a community theater version of a sports movie. Aaron had joined for the same reason people buy gym memberships in January: hope and peer pressure. His neighbor Bill Peterson, a burly guy with a laugh that could scare off wildlife, had told him, "You'll love it, man. It's like baseball, but smarter." That had sounded impressive at the time. Now, as he stood with sweat dripping down his neck and the ball whizzing past his knee, he wondered if Bill had been messing with him. Blank. The first attempt was, in Aaron's own words, a calculated failure. He swung so hard the bat spun out of his hands and landed near the lemonade table. Grace clapped anyway. Tina called it progress. The rest of the players, mostly teens pretending not to laugh, offered him advice so contradictory it sounded like an improv sketch. "Keep your elbow up. No, down. Don't blink. Definitely blink." Aaron tried again, hitting nothing but pride. The ball rolled lazily toward a puddle left by last night's storm. "That counts as a foul," said Mr. Hobbs, who no one had actually put in charge but everyone just kind of accepted as the referee of life. The heat made the air heavy with the scent of cut grass, barbecue smoke, and the faint sweetness of sunscreen. Kids rode by on bikes yelling, "Go Mr. Blake," because they'd seen him mowing in his Hawaiian shirt last week and decided he looked funny enough to root for. Every few minutes, someone yelled, "Water break," which really meant, "Let's stand in the shade and roast each other's batting technique." Aaron became the team's favorite subject. When he missed for the 5th time in a row, Lenny yelled, "That bat's allergic to the ball." But something strange began to happen. The more Aaron failed, the more fun everyone seemed to have. His awkward swings, the accidental dance steps when he dodged, his exaggerated size, it all became part of the rhythm of the day. There was laughter, high fives, playful teasing, and absolutely no scoreboard in sight. In that laughter, Aaron started to feel something he hadn't since moving here: belonging. Blank. Later that evening, the sun softened into gold, and the neighborhood grill out began. Kids ran barefoot across the grass, string lights flickered to life, and the air filled with the smell of burgers and corn on the cob. Aaron sat on a lawn chair, sipping lemonade that was 70% sugar, staring at the cricket bat resting against his leg like an old adversary. "Not bad for your first day," said Tina, sitting beside him, pulling her hair up into a ponytail. "You missed every single ball, but your spirit, A+. Aaron laughed, shaking his head. "I'm redefining athletic disappointment." "That's the best kind," Tina said, nudging him. "Everyone remembers the guy who keeps cheering." Across the yard, someone had brought out a speaker. A country pop mix echoed over the laughter. Mr. Hobbs was telling a story about how he once accidentally joined a yoga retreat because he thought it was a fishing club. The entire neighborhood was together, imperfect, diverse, and joyfully mismatched. Aaron looked around and realized he didn't miss the city noise anymore. Here, mistakes were celebrated. Failure was entertainment. And trying, that was enough. As fireflies began to appear, Tina lifted her cup and said, "To the guy who missed every ball but hit everyone's funny bone." Aaron raised his in reply. To next time, may I miss better. Laughter followed, echoing under the wide Carolina sky. Blank, underscore, blank. A week later, Saturday arrived again. That stubbornly optimistic day when everyone believed they could grill perfectly, fix their own gutters, and play sports like professionals. The sun over Raleigh was mercilessly bright, cutting across the freshly mowed lawns like a spotlight on human overconfidence. Aaron Blake stood on the same patch of grass, same bat, same nervous grin. Except this time, he had duct-taped one glove because he'd read somewhere that real players did that. He'd even watched 3 YouTube tutorials titled, Cricket for Confused Americans. The neighborhood was assembling again. Tina Morales carrying her cooler of water bottles like she was managing a professional team. Grace setting up her foldable chair and umbrella for umpire duty, Mr. Hobbs in his usual golf hat, pretending to take notes in a spiral pad labeled Rules TBD, and Bill Peterson, already wearing sunglasses and talking trash from his lawn chair. All right, Aaron, Bill shouted, raising his soda can like a trophy. Let's see if you can actually find the ball this week. Aaron grinned. I found it plenty last week, usually in the bushes. Laughter rippled through the group. Tina whistled dramatically. Let's go, Team Chaos. It wasn't about winning, it was about rhythm. The friendly rhythm of people gathering, teasing, cheering, and finding something to laugh about between the week's work stress and suburban routines. Aaron took his stance, slightly better than last week but still dangerously close to interpretive dance. The ball came flying from Lenny, spinning off the grass like it had a personal vendetta. Aaron swung. Thwack. Contact. The ball rolled 10 feet, but it was contact. He hit it, yelled Tina, hands in the air. Grace nearly dropped her drink. Mr. Hobbs blew his imaginary whistle so hard it startled a nearby dog. For a few seconds, the cul-de-sac felt like a stadium. Neighbors clapped from porches. Kids screamed like they'd just witnessed a grand slam. Even the dog barked in celebration. Aaron stood frozen in disbelief. That counts, right? Tina nodded, beaming. That's a run. You're officially a cricketer, Blake. It didn't matter that the ball barely made it past the cooler. It didn't matter that no one was keeping score. The moment mattered, the moment where effort became achievement, not because it was grand, but because it was genuine. Blank, underscore, blank. As the game went on, the temperature climbed. Sweat beaded on foreheads. Flip-flops slapped the grass. Someone turned on a Bluetooth speaker blasting Sweet Home Alabama. Lenny accidentally sent a ball flying into Mr. Hobbs's iced tea, which splashed like a slow-motion soda commercial. Grace laughed so hard she had to sit down. Aaron, though, had found his rhythm, not in skill, but in spirit. He swung, missed, laughed, and swung again. Each miss came with a louder round of applause, as if the neighborhood had agreed that enthusiasm was the new scoreboard. Between turns, he chatted with Tina about her bakery startup plans, helped Grace adjust her chair shade, and even shared sunscreen with a kid who called him Coach for no clear reason. At one point, a passing jogger stopped and asked, "What game is that?" Aaron shouted back, "Cricket." Sort of. The jogger frowned. "You're doing great, I think. Blank, underscore, blank." By late afternoon, the light softened. Shadows stretched long over the lawns, the air buzzed with cicadas, and the first hints of evening cooled the heat. They gathered under the same oak tree again, sweaty and happy, surrounded by the unpolished beauty of imperfection, a neighborhood full of mismatched lawn chairs, half-empty soda cans, and the kind of laughter that comes from shared ridiculousness. Tina looked around the group. "You all realize none of us actually know how to win this game, right?" Mr. Hobbs closed his notebook. "Winning is clearly subjective." Aaron raised his cup. "Then I guess we're undefeated." The group cheered, a clumsy, loud, joyful cheer that startled a squirrel right off the tree trunk. Bill leaned over. "You know, Blake, when you first moved here, you were the quiet type. Look at you now, neighborhood MVP." Aaron smirked. MVP, most visible panic. Laughter again, the kind that carried through yards and over fences, the kind that made you feel like you belonged somewhere. Blank, underscore, blank. That night, as everyone packed up, Tina called out, "Same time next Saturday." Aaron looked up at the sky, now violet with the last streaks of sunlight. "Wouldn't miss it," he said, smiling at his own unintentional pun. The kids laughed, repeating, "Wouldn't miss it," like a chant. And as the crowd dispersed, Aaron lingered. The yard was quiet now except for a few chirping crickets. The irony wasn't lost on him. He placed the bat over his shoulder and looked around. He'd missed a lot in life, chances, moments, opportunities he'd overthought. But here, among people who turned misses into music, failure didn't feel like the end of anything. It felt like the beginning. A gentle breeze rustled the leaves overhead. The last light flickered across his face as he whispered to himself, half laughing, maybe missing isn't so bad, as long as you keep cheering.
Like and subscribe if you want daily dose of happiness and motivation.